I am going to attempt to do some rust removal using electrolysis this afternoon because it's a shitty day and I've got nothing better to do. I've got this xl100/125 battery box which does not fit the xl250, but I bought it for another reason. And as this is going spare and is quite rusty in places, I thought I'd use it as a sacrificial experiment to see if it'll clean up using electrolysis. And this is a great practice piece because I actually want to use it on the xl250 battery box, see if that'll remove the paint and the rust, and just see how successful or unsuccessful this is going to be. So my setup is a bucket with some iron bars in it, all connected using one cable. I have a 12 volt, 24 volt battery charger, which is new old stock. I think I picked it up for a £5. Some sodium carbonate, 250 grams of it here. We won't use anything like 250 grams. I think we're going to use something like 4 tablespoons worth in this whole 3-gallon bucket. That's UK gallon bucket. We will have our positive terminals onto the sacrificial steel or iron, and then we're going to hang the battery box in the bucket of water with the negative terminal on it off this less than perfect hanging device, and that is going to hang in the bucket, not touching any of these steel pieces, and then we'll leave it for a few hours and see what happens. The positive terminal goes to the sacrificial anode, so we'll go for the middle one. That. And the negative lead connects to the piece to be cleaned. This is something I haven't done before, so it's either going to work or it's not going to work, or I'm going to kill myself. Set to 12 volts, and at the moment we're on the minimum amount of current. Okay, that is now switched on, and immediately I'm seeing bubbles coming off the workpiece, which is encouraging. Fantastic. Right, I'm going to leave that for a few hours and see what happens. It's been about an hour. I've come back up to the shed and things are definitely looking different. That's a nice soupy brown sludge on top of the bucket water. It shows something's happening. The bubbles are still going quite energetically. So I'm going to pull the piece out and just see what's happening. Maybe give it a quick wire brush and stick it back in for a bit. Switch off the charger. See what's what. Okay, so literally a quick once over in a bucket of water with a copper brush, and already we can see the paint is starting to come off. Certainly on the outer surfaces it's quite pronounced. In the areas where it's a bit more shaded it seems less so, and inside it seems less so as well. So it's going to take a bit longer to reach in there, I guess. But the hinge work is starting to come up, so I'm going to stick it in for Like I said, it's been an hour. I think it's going to need quite a bit longer, but we'll stick it on. I may have to stop it overnight and then carry on tomorrow. But yeah, so far looks encouraging. So here we are producing lots of hydrogen gas. In fact, it's producing a lot more hydrogen gas than I expected, which is why you do not want to do this indoors. Oh, lots of hydrogen. Really do not do this in an enclosed space. This is the experimental 185 piece. It's come out pretty well. I mean, it's not removed all the rust. I mean, it's impossible to convert rust into magic metal. But what it has done is take a lot of the surface rust off. That mark there that you see is where I left it in a slight damp patch, and it's surface rusted again. What it hasn't done though is touched some of the rust that's formed wherever there's any spot welding. So areas like in there, after wire brushing, it's looking a lot cleaner. I'm going to use rust remover into the very corners where some of the rust remained. Hopefully we can convert that then and it'll be ready for painting. I have cut some replacement foam pads to replace the ones that I took out of it when I stripped it originally, and they're just to stop the battery from rattling around. They very closely approximate what was in there before, so I've cut them to size. Because this is effectively an impact adhesive, peel it back off and wait for that to dry, and then I'll flip it back on. Okay, so I'm waiting for the Copydex to dry. I've got it on all the positions where the pads are supposed to be. In a few minutes, when that's tacked off, I will stick them into place. Okay, so let's see, new rubber pads fitted to the inside, a new rubber pad fitted to the retaining arm. The battery box retaining arm is broken. It was broken when I received it, and I don't have any welding gear. If I had, I would put a little spot of or blob of weld on there, but it still functions, so I'm going to reassemble it as it arrived. I suspect if anyone actually goes and uses it, they may want to do that, but it still functions. Here we are with the finished assembled item. It's far from perfect. It is what it is. I learnt a lot of lessons with this. First of all, the paint job on it is not perfect. It's a little bit thin in places, mostly because I managed to get some oil from the hinge onto the bare steel and didn't clean it properly, so that necessitated taking some paint off in areas and reapplying. That was a bit of a rush job, so not perfect. The other thing I learnt was the electrolysis itself. The skills I developed doing this one, I have applied to this one. As you can see, the results on this one are, well, considerable really. So that's work in progress. The lessons from this one are being applied to that one. So yeah, so we have an xl125 battery box that is in serviceable condition. It's not perfect, but hopefully it'll go on and serve someone else's bike. Hello Mog. Yeah, anyway, sorry about this long rambling video. I hope it's have helped somebody. And as I say, great learning curve for me.